Loving Without Boundaries, and I am here with the amazing and awesome Coach B, a cherished member of our team. And if you're seeing us here online, we're excited to speak with you. And if you are looking for community and you're not a part of our free online community, feel free to go to Facebook and do a search for the group called Loving Without Boundaries, Healthy Open Relationships and Lifestyle Freedom. And we also offer many great resources on my website, lovingwithoutboundaries.com. That's where you can also find my award-winning podcast, my book, Jealousy Survival Guide, How to Feel Safe, Happy, and Secure in an Open Relationship, and so many more resources. So we are here to support you and your journey in living your most authentic life and being in healthy relationships. So today, the topic we'd like to cover is staying present through difficult conversations. And this is a real big topic. We see it all the time, both with our cherished clients that we have the honor to work with, and of course in our own personal lives, because we often say that we are always in the trenches of our work. We are putting into practice everything that we help our clients with on a day-to-day basis. So with that, I'd love to give the mic over to you, B, to get us started.
Hello, everyone. 100% agree with you, Kiri, that we are here to support you on your journey to build the life and relationships that you want. And this topic is one of the ways that we want to help you with. It's talking about difficult conversations, because difficult conversations in human relationships are absolutely unavoidable, at least at some of the time, even if we feel that, oh, we're so great at communications, we have the skills, that we have the emotional regulation skills, we know what to say. There can be situations where either the topic is really emotionally charged for us, even before the conversation, because it's some vulnerability that we want to share, or we want to set a boundary, or maybe we already have tension with this other person, some areas of tension, so we go into the conversation like already tensed up because of our history, or maybe we carry certain fears into our conversation from the past that have nothing to do with this person or our relationship with them, such as speaking up about our needs or our truths is going to end the relationship, or it's a threat to our relationship. So there can be so many things going on in conversations that can make it really difficult from time to time. And I also want to highlight that, to humanize your experience, that it's absolutely natural that, for example, before you enter into consensual non-monogamy, you feel like, oh, we have such great communication skills, and then you open up your relationship and it's like, what is going on? What is this mess? Like, we just can't seem to be communicating. That's also entirely normal, because the lifestyle brings up certain triggers and situations that you might have not faced before. So it makes conversations a little bit more challenging. Or you may also notice that, oh, with one partner, I have a really comfortable conversation dynamic, and with other person, it's really, really different. What's going on here? What's wrong? And there's absolutely nothing wrong. We just have different dynamics with different people. And just briefly, I want to give you 3 aspects of what does it mean to be present through our difficult conversations. One is as much as humanly possible, because we're not perfect. It would be so great if everything went great and comfortable. So as much as possible, we're here with the other person together in the experience. So I'm here with you, not against you. The other aspect of staying present is as much as possible, we start from present moment facts. So what is the current state of affairs, and what can we do to move forward, to keep the moving forward in a way that it's a win-win for both of us. And the third aspect is, how can I be the right person that can have this conversation? Because having the right frameworks and knowing what to say is just one thing, but many of our conversations and our interactions happen non-verbally. So if our nervous system is triggered, if our body is tense, if our tone of voice is off, if we say the right words, but it comes from a place of obligation or frustration, that's going to set the tone for a really difficult conversation. So with that, I want to give the mic back to you, Kiri.
Yeah. Beautiful introduction. And I love how you laid all that out, B. And I want to just talk about a couple different things. One is we often, in the work we do with our clients, we talk about different energies, about how we might show up when we're feeling threatened. So sometimes with what we call tiger energy, we might show up kind of like, we want to talk, we want to get it all out on the table. And if we show up with what we call turtle energy, that's where we might retreat. We might want to avoid the topic, or take some time to process. There's nothing wrong with either of those energies, but sometimes that can cause some friction if one person really wants to talk it out and the other person doesn't. And that can create some difficulties in relationships. And it can also just start to create a pattern where we're not having the difficult conversations that we need to have, especially if one or more people is conflict avoidant, or if we don't have the skill set to properly deal with conflict. I see this all the time, even in my own relationships or my own family dynamics. And certainly we see this with the beautiful people that we get to work with. Or also, that pattern might just feel like a wound. So we might avoid conversations that we feel are difficult because we don't want to get into the same old argument or have it spin out of control. So we just kind of walk on eggshells. I hear that all the time from people that I talk to. We're walking on eggshells in our own households with our loved ones instead of having the conversations that we need to have. But all that does is create a ticking time bomb, because that is just building up either resentment, or the problem that needs to get talked about is just getting worse. And that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your partners. It's not helping you certainly be developing a healthy dynamic with your loved ones. Instead, it's getting more and more toxic and unhealthy and dysfunctional when we don't have the tools to be able to have these important conversations. And one of the quotes I love is that our success in life is partly determined by the number of uncomfortable conversations we're willing to have. That also means navigating through when we're having uncomfortable feelings, knowing that that's part of the human experience, and building your confidence, your strength, and your resiliency to be able to have those conversations that in your heart, that you need to have. So with that, I'm going to give the mic back over to you, B.
Great points, Kirian. This is indeed a pain point for many, to not express certain things, but to hope that things gonna change for whatever reason, or just something gonna shift over time. And really what happens is a state of stagnation and stuckness and resentment, and this ongoing battlefield energy, and the disconnection keeps just growing between the two of us, and the disconnection from our own truths, because it's not expressed. We don't get the real-time feedback, the factual feedback from the other person about our truths, and we won't be able to give them the feedback. But what happens is we start climbing up, avoiding these conversations, and instead of living with reality of our relationship, we live with the stories, the fearful stories of our relationship, and the what I call negative core images of ourselves and the other person, that I just can't have this conversation. My needs don't matter. This other person wouldn't listen. So instead of having real life experiences, we keep having these conversations piling up in our head, just creating more and more limiting beliefs, more and more disconnections with our loved ones and our own truth. And the fact is, our needs are gonna get unmet, because if we just keep them nurturing inside, building up all sorts of worst case scenarios and not letting them out, not having the other person to respond to these, the needs won't gonna get met at all. So it's really the place of stagnation and unfortunately stuckness that really, really often comes up in this lifestyle, whether you want to talk about or create some agreements around, or how we can move forward now that I want to have more partners, or I just came to the understanding that I'm bisexual and I want to explore that. So sometimes I see people not having those conversations for years or decades, and it's debilitating. It's really, really, really sad. So it's so important to create that container inside of yourself that can help you stay present as much as humanly possible in those conversations, so that you can get your truth out and you can lovingly negotiate your truth with your loved ones, so that you keep moving toward your dreams.
Yeah, so beautifully stated. I can just feel Your heart and your sincerity and how you express that, be, and I'm sure that folks that are watching either live or on the recording can feel that as well. And it breaks my heart because it can create, as B said, so much disconnection, so much emotional turmoil and chaos. And let's face it, drama, drama sometimes when we're not having those conversations or when we attempt it without knowing how to do it properly and it just spins out of control. And again, that can become like a self-fulfilling prophecy and a pattern that we don't know how to break. And again, that just hurts my heart when I see that, because we weren't taught when we were young. We weren't taught in school or college, if you went to college, how to have these beautiful conversations instead of the arguments and the disconnection. But we want you to know that all hope is not lost. There is absolutely skill sets and strategies and communication tools and working on your own inner resilience and confidence and strength that you can bring to those conversations. Bring the best version of yourself so that you can then have the best outcome. This is all learnable, it is all teachable. And if B and I can do it, and the beautiful people that we have the honor to work with can do it, so can you. So we want to make sure that you have a lot of hope and know that this is all things that are solvable and fixable. But in order to do that, first you have to get really clear on what this is costing you to not solve this problem, to not know how to navigate difficult conversations. And I invite you to really connect with, why is this important for you to change? Why is it no longer sustainable for this to keep costing you your own mental and emotional health, the health of your most cherished relationships? Are you worried about it creating more and more disconnection and resentment, or worse, separation and breakups, or worst case scenario, divorce if you're married? Because that happens, right? I mean, we all know the statistics that roughly 50% of marriages fail, whether they start out in a monogamous or a consensually non-monogamous framework, or it develops into that or not. And the same goes for even if you're not legally married, but you're in a relationship. I mean, there's a high probability that it's not going to work out. And this is the most skipped step we've seen with consensual non-monogamy and ethical non-monogamy and open relationships and polyamory, is people not taking the time to invest in themselves and their skill set. But it all starts with you realizing what this is costing you, connecting to your why and your positive intention, and then deciding that this is it. You don't want to spend another day without getting the right skills, the right tool, the right team, if that's what you're needing, the right community around you, and making sure that you're building these skills that you need, whether you stay in the current relationship that you're in, or you don't want to bring those same unskilled methods with you into the future. That doesn't help you or the future people that you haven't even met yet, who want to meet you, who want to love you. But if you're not developing the skills that you need, then you're in jeopardy of doing the same mistakes over and over again. And it just doesn't have to be that way. So I'll go ahead and give the mic back over to you, B.
Yeah, I 100% agree, Kiri, that this is a learnable skill set.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there are ways to create that inner reservoir of trust and confidence in yourself, that first of all, you can have that conversation, that you can learn to, as much as possible, detach from the outcome, so that no matter what happens, you're gonna be okay. We've seen this live unfolding in front of our eyes, that it is entirely possible from someone having difficulties with leaning into difficult conversation, and now embodying that, you know what, yes, it's difficult, but I know I'm going to be okay, because there's this inner skill set, this inner source of abundance built up. So this is just one of the skill set that can be absolutely developed over time, and it's really a game changer. really a game changer. So there's definitely hope. If you're right now struggling, or if you're fearful, or this is not something for me, I don't know how to do it. So if you have any fears or concerns, just know that this is learnable if you invest in yourself. But as Kiri said, it first starts with that awareness, like what is it costing me? What do I want instead? And making that defiant decision that that's it. This was the last day of my past life, and this is the first day of my future.
Yeah, yeah, and thank you for that. It's so important to know that you can create positive change in your life, and what's so empowering is that that all starts with you making that defiant decision, and then getting into intelligent, inspired action, learning that you can start to show up with curiosity and deep understanding and compassion for yourself and your loved ones in those conversations. You can learn when to talk about something and when not to talk about something. You can learn how to practice a pause or create what we call a pattern interrupt. And these, again, are all learnable skills. So if anything that we're saying is resonating with you, I invite you to consider seeing if you're ready to work with a mentor, with a coach, with a team that really cares about you. That's how B and I first got to know each other. I think it's going on 4 or 5 years now. And it all started with her booking that first free breakthrough session. So I put a link up on the screen at lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. That simply takes you into my calendar so that you're going to see what time slots are available. And I do implore you, please don't take the time slot if you're not intending to really show up, because there's one of me and a lot of you, and a lot of people we're here to serve. So please be respectful of my time as we're respectful of your time as well. And once you book that call, there'll be a brief intake form for you to fill out that just helps me get a little bit of context for our conversation. Then we'll jump on that call. If something does get in the way, please be respectful. And again, reschedule, ideally more than 24 hours out, so that somebody else can take that time slot to have the opportunity to speak with me to see if we are a fit to work together. That's really, really important. And I really do deeply appreciate that. And then once we get on the call, we'll just simply have an honest conversation. I'll listen to you where you're at, see if I can help you, if we're a fit to work together, if you have the qualities to succeed. And if it's all systems go, we can talk about different ways that we can move forward and make a game plan so that you can get the help that you need. If we're not a fit to work together, or the timing isn't right, you have my word that I will steer you in the best direction for you so that you get a lot of clarity and value from our time together. So that is my promise to you. And with that, I'll go ahead and give the mic back to you, B.
Thanks, Kiri. I brought a few questions as usual, so self-reflective questions to help you with your own clarity, because every change starts with having the clarity. Where am I now and where do I want to go? So question number one, what do you find most challenging in conversations you personally find difficult? Maybe is it physically staying in the room, not becoming defensive, not interrupting the other persons, not giving extra explanations, not bringing up past grievances? What is it for you that you find most challenging in your type of challenging conversations? Question number two, when you feel triggered into anxiety, anger, impatience, shame, guilt, or whatever the emotions that most often come up, what are your main fears and thoughts and beliefs that go through your mind in those moments? So what are the accompanying thoughts, fears, and beliefs, or possible body sensations that happen at the same time when you feel triggered? For example, I won't be loved if I speak my truth. What I want doesn't matter. So identifying these can really help to shift your struggles into empowerment, and turn those difficult conversations around to still difficult, but really, really manageable conversations, even a little bit comfortable conversations. Question number three is, what would be one or two most significant aspects of your communications, either shifting behaviors or shifting your fears, that if you changed could considerably help you stay more present? So what are those foundational things for you that could help you the most? Maybe emotional regulation skills, maybe learning a few frameworks that could give you the confidence that, oh yes, this could be done, or doing some practice, or maybe learning to pause. What is it for you that if you shift it could help you the most?
Beautiful questions. Thank you so much for that, B. So with that, we'll leave it here. Again, if you are looking for support and you want to see if working with a coach such as B and I and our team that really cares is for you, you can go to that link, lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. We'd be delighted to speak with you. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next live. We'll see you in our free online community. Feel free to listen to the podcast, Loving Without Boundaries, and we will talk to you next time. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.